Hello guys and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to be making a Among Us character inside of Blender. Oh, we're going to continue with it. So in last week's video I showed you how to sculpt and retopologize a character. So in today's video we are going to be texturing, rigging and rendering out our character. So first off, so I had these two materials that I was working with. So first off, let's go start with texturing. So let's add a new material, and as you can see, it is the default material. So let's go to shading, and then this is like a material preview. So what we're gonna be doing is setting up a toon shader type thing. So this is going to be for the body. So let's set this to screen color. Actually, the color doesn't matter because we're going to be getting a shader to RGB and then a color ramp over here. It's a color ramp. As you can see, it just looks normal, but as you can see, we can control the color. So now we can go to set this to constant, and then now we already have a cell shader. So let's set this color to a nice dark green and set this to a light green. As you can see, we have this nice cell shader. So now, as you can see, the mask is usually a different color. Well, I don't know, it's a mask type thing. So let's add a new material and let's do the same thing. Shader to RGB, puts in color ramp. There you go, put it in. And wait, let's just sign this quickly. And then constant. That's B-spline, constant. Let's set this to a nice dark blue color. And then let's set an intermediate color, which is like this. And as you can see, there we have the mask as well. So this will all change when we start lighting our scene. So this is fine for now. Let's go back to layout. Let's add a shift A and go to armature and single bone. So let's drag this all the way to the before I forget, start my shortcut keys so you can see what I'm doing down below. So as you can see, we have added a body just for the body. So let's just cut this in half or subdivide just in case we want to move the head. So let's select this pelvis, shift D, put it over here, drag this down. Okay, cool. Let's subdivide this. So firstly, naming nodes are very important. So let's set this to foot.l and set this to leg.l. Let's set this to pelvis and let's set this to head. Cool. And then select these two leg bones, armature, symmetrize. Okay, so let's go to pose mode. Actually, let's select this mesh and let's go click on this one, control P. Actually, before we do this, actually never mind, we're just gonna work with this. So control P when you had the model and then the armature selected, and go to automatic weights. So let's go, so as you can see, let's just quickly set up a basic pose. So if we rotate this, as you can see, it's actually affecting the bottom of the face and the bag type thing behind it. So let's go out of that, go select the model, go to weight paint. As you can see, we have this whole heat map type thing. So quickly just set this to single, just so we can see this better. So wait, let's go here. So subtract this, set this all the way down to Shift F. So okay, so we don't want it to affect the face at all. So we don't want the backpack to be affected either. Okay, cool. Let's wait, set the weight down. So we can set this. So it's basically just making it a bit smoother. Okay, and then it's also just mess with the foot a little bit. Actually, I think the foot is fine. Okay, cool. So as you can see, this actually, since we have a mirror modifier on it, it actually messes with the weight paint on the left side as well. So there you go. As you can see, we have a pretty decent thing. So let's start setting up our scene. So let's make sure that your cursor is in the world origin. Let's add a plane, drag it down. Let's make them fly in a little bit. So let's scale this up a lot. And then let's select all the edges through Z. And then let's add 2 edge loops and another edge loop. So that's for the subdivision surface modifier. Let's set this to smooth, and the modifier, let's set the render to 4, because if we just set the viewport to 4, then the render will be 2, so it will basically be like on this in render, even though in the viewport it looks like that. So let's set this to that, and let's add a camera. So let's add the camera, Control Alt 0, and if you go to view navigation and walk navigation, I have set this to Shift F. Shift F. You can add a shortcut if you want. So it's like this, very nice to move your camera around. So you can use WAS to move around, and then Q and E to go up and down. So it's just quite nice to find camera angles. Cool. So this kind of looks pretty weird right now. So let's quickly go environment texture and open up a HDRI. So you can use any. I just got one off HDRI Haven. I'll leave a link to it down below. So it's just nice to fill in the background. And then let's actually drag this in. Okay, cool. So now let's just add a light and area. So let's put it over here. Let's scale it up. Let's scale this down actually. Okay, cool. So now that we have some lighting, let's quickly mess with the materials. So actually, this is actually clipping a little bit into the camera. Cool. So now let's quickly go here, and then we can mess with this. Okay, that looks better. Let's actually add a very highlight one. Just a very slight. Actually, no, let's just leave it like this. Cool. And then let's go mess with the goggle type thing. Okay, cool. There. And then let's drag this a little bit. I actually want this a bit darker. It's gonna be a bit darker as well. Okay, cool. And then let's add a texture to the background. And then let's make it roughness and specular. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add a outline to the character. So if we go to here, so let's shift D and right click to cancel the movement of it. So we're going to have to apply the mirror modifier, the subdivision, and the shrink wrap modifier. So as you can see, so we have it here. Let's go Alt S and then drag this up a little bit, like 0.1 is fine. So now let's remove all the textures and actually, yeah, okay. So let's add a black. Well, we can actually just, if we go to shading, we can just remove this there. Cool. And then let's set this to back face culling and go here, Shift N, recalculate normals and go inside. And there you go. So now we have an outline. Just going to shade these smooth. And there you go. So we have the outline for the character. Cool. So I'm going to set ambient occlusion on. We don't need bloom. We don't need that either. Okay, cool. So some models it makes it look nicer, some it doesn't change anything. So let's go here to color management, use curves, so we can just mess around with this a little bit. I just want to remove some red. And then I want the background to be bluer. Cool, so there you go. Cool, so that's looking quite nice. So now we can just render this out. So we can go render image. You won't be able to see this, so I'll quickly change this. There you go. Now you can see it. So as you can see, here is the character. So let's just go image, save as, desktop, and let's set this to character or something. Oh, it doesn't matter. And there you go. Let's go and save the file as Among Us. Among Us. There, cool. So there you go. That's how you make a character in the last video, and in this video I showed you how to do texture and rig it. Cool. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment. If you enjoy more content, hit the subscribe button.